One of two things. This president is, he talks about cognitive capability. He doesn't seem to be cognitively aware of what's going on. He either reads and/or gets briefed on important issues, and he forgets it, or he doesn't think it's necessary that he need to know it. But the fact is that at a minimum, the discrepancy allegedly within the intelligence community as reported, some thought it was more certain and others thought it was less certain. That should be resolved. The president should have on day one said, I want you to come before me in the Situation Room and lay out the differences and discretion. Who is saying what? Let's get to the bottom of this, number one. Number two, it's clear to me that, and I don't know whether he did, he should have immediately contacted our Joint Chiefs of Staff, gotten them all in one room and sat and said, okay, what are we doing to prevent this? What are we doing to prepare to deal with this if this is happening? How are we doing this? What are we doing? Thirdly, he should at a minimum have picked up the phone and said, Vladimir, old buddy, if any of this is true, and it doesn't cease immediately, you've got a big problem. A big problem. And make it clear. Get to the bottom of this. It appears as though, from what I have, and I don't have access to classified information anymore, but if what I have heard over the last week and the recent reporting that it was in the PDB, the Presidential Daily Brief. The Presidential Daily Brief is something I read every single day as Vice President. The President read it every day. I was briefed every morning before I got to the White House and then again. So the idea that somehow he didn't know or isn't being briefed, it is a dereliction of duty if that's the case. And if he was briefed and nothing was done about this, that's a dereliction of duty. I guess the best way for me to end this is, I was talking to Jill, my wife Jill, and I don't see her get outraged very often. She started asking, she said, Joe, what would you have done if Beau was still in harm's way and this information came out? And the president, Beau is my son who was in, I'm sorry, I apologize, who served in Iraq for a year, was in the Army. But if he'd been in Afghanistan, what would you do, Joe? What are those parents thinking out there? What are those sons and daughters, husbands and wives? It's an absolute dereliction of duty, if any of this is even remotely true. So I think the president has a lot to answer for, and he should get the answers quickly.